it is February. How January's gone? How did that happen? I had a really great reading month, but before I get into the books that I read in the month of January, I just wanted to make a quick little thing. Because I have been mentally preparing myself for February. I got super depressed last February because Valentine's Day. Yep, Valentine's Day is really hard for me every year because I'm not allosexual or allo-romantic. So that's a thing that's been, thrown into my face year after year of me going, why can't I find love and have a romantic Valentine's Day like the rest of the world? But last year, it was Valentine's Day that I decided for myself, you know what? I'm asexual and aromantic. I'm going to embrace it. And so this year, I'm not letting it bother me as much as I have in the past. So, if Valentine's Day bugs you for various reasons, I'm letting you know that I will be in your buddy support group. And I'm going to celebrate platonic relationships because that is a thing that I like. If you feel overwhelmed by the oversaturatedness of romantic themes in February, I'm your girl to hit up to be like, hey, and then we can just join together and bask in our platonicness. I don't begrudge you your romantic notions, you allo-romantic people. I don't get it. I don't get the same feelings inside. Like, I see people holding hands and I go, wow, I could never do that myself. Why? It just feels weird. Anyway, you came here for the book wrap-up, the January book wrap-up. And so that's what you're gonna get. So for this month, I right off the bat I read a bunch of books, and by a bunch I mean 2 in the span of 3 days of the new year because my internet went out and I had nothing else better to do. I didn't have work, so I read books. So I was like, oh yeah, I got these books under my belt. I'm gonna read 10 books this month. Yes! And then I got internet back. But I've read a total of 6 books in the month of February. Let me check 1 second, hold on. Yeah, there's not a single month last year where I read that many books. The most I read in a month was 5, and I did that twice, both in January and June. So I have officially read about 26% of the books that I read last year, because I only read 23 last year. So, going on it, going strong, preparing myself mentally for the month of February so I don't go off the crazy end of my mental brain, and I'm just gonna keep on keeping on with this reading thing. I read, oh, now I gotta switch back to my other thing. I read a total of 1,867 pages. I don't go by the page count that says on Goodreads. I go by about, okay, so let's say the first page says page 11 and the last page says 186. I count that as 177 or 176 pages. Like, I just take the 10 off. I go by that. So let's get into this because you probably have turned away already by now. The first book I read, I was super excited to read this because it's going to be a movie later this year. And I thought I better get on that, reading the book before the movie thing. It's a Peter Jackson movie coming out later this year. It looks super, super interesting. And that is Mortal Engines by Philip Reeve. I got this from a Mel library. And I rated it a 2 out of 5 stars. Yay! It is a YA book. As you can see down here, it's young adult. And it really kind of reads like a middle grade, to be completely honest. The main character, whose name I have forgotten, is the name. I think his name is Tom. Yes, his name is Tom. He's a 15-year-old boy who things happen to him, but he's so in denial about everything. And he kind of reads like an 8-year-old. So there's that. It is very much an adventure story, cookie cutter adventure story in my opinion. I did not enjoy it. I skimmed through a lot of it because I was just bored to tears with this. It has a different POV from a girl who lives in the city, Catherine. I enjoyed her point of view. I just didn't enjoy the rest of the book as much. I have hopes for the movie though. I'm still gonna go see the movie. This next book I bought at the end of last year, somewhere in the last couple months. I got it from Chapters, and I kind of knew I wanted this to be the first read of January, even though this is my second read of January because, you know, things happen. But that is The Magic Strings of Frankie Presto by Mitch Albom. This is my second Mitch Albom book. I loved the first one. I got The Timekeeper, and I love this one. This is a chunker of a book. It is over almost 500 pages long, not quite, and I would label this a historical fiction, kinda magical realism, that it has the whimsy of magical realism attached to this, but not really. But at the same time, yes. This is about a musician entertainer named Frankie Presto, and he has died. And the story takes place from the point of view of music. Music as an entity. Music has come back at the funeral to reclaim the gift that music lent Frankie Presto when he was born. And so music recounts all the tales of Frankie's childhood, all, you know, the hard times, the good times, a lot of the hard times. But, you know, it goes throughout his life of how he became a musician, famous in America. He's originally from Spain. How he doubled for Elvis Presley when he couldn't be there for a concert. Craziness. And there was like page 175 left me jaw dropping. Like, things happened on that page. I was like, I ended up giving this a 4 out of 5 stars. It would have been a 5-star read for me, but the end kind of wrapped up really too neatly, in my opinion. I was very disappointed with the explanations for a lot of things in the end, and it just left me a little lackluster in the book department. So this is a 4 out of 5-star read for me, but I definitely recommend you pick it up if you like that sort of historical family saga, not family saga in a sense, but like an historical biography type fiction. And now we are going to get into the rereads of 2018. So far I've got 3 rereads. I finally have reread The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. I read this on audiobook, narrated by Jim Dale. I thought it'd be a nice different way of consuming the book, since the first time I read it, it was during Booktubeathon 2015, and I devoured it in like a day. So I knew I wanted to eventually get back into this. I tried rereading it, I think last year or the year before, and didn't get far into it because, you know, reading slumps and stuff. But yeah, I really loved the audiobook. I listened to it on like 1.4 times speed because I would often read along with it, and that's the speed in which I was reading, if not a little faster. The 1.5 just felt a little too fast and too jarring for my liking. So I really like this. I read it on transits. So it took me like 10, 11 days to get through this because I would listen to it on the way to and from work, you know, waiting for buses and stuff, and then a little bit when I got home. So still love this. Still 5 out of 5 star. I really love this book, this story, the just everything. It's so magical and whimsical and such good storytelling. Well done, Widget. Well done. And then I have finished the 3 books of the Wayward Children series that is currently out. I reread Every Dart a Horway. I have reread Every Heart a Doorway by Seanan McGuire. Still 5 out of 5 star read for me. I love it so much still. Though there are points of it where I was like, and that is the descriptions of people's hair colors sometimes. Like the one girl's described as having the hair color, the color of moonlight. What is the color of moonlight? I would like to know. Is it just white? Because, you know, that would be the color of the moon. And then Cade talks about kissing a girl with the hair the color of cabbages. Really? Cabbages? Is that like a greeny yellow color? Like, really? Could you not pick a different descriptor? And then I reread Down Among the Sticks and Bones, which I initially gave a 5 out of 5 stars to, but this time around I'm giving my experience a 4 out of 5 stars, just because I enjoyed the story, but I was kind of like skipping past it because I've read it, and then I'm like, okay, let's go, come on. That was just my enjoyment of it. I'm still leaving this at 5 out of 5 stars on Goodreads, because I did enjoy it the first time very, very much. I still love the world and the darkness and the creepiness of it, but my experience this time around was like, it wasn't phenomenal for me this time around. Just really liked it though. And the last book I finished is Beneath the Sugar Sky by Seanan McGuire. 3rd book in the series, and I gave this the 3.5 out of 5 stars. I really hyped myself up for this one. I thought I was really gonna like it, which is why I can't do the whole 5-star predictions type of video, because I hyped myself up and then I'm disappointed. I thought it was, I liked the story. It was okay. I liked going to see the different worlds. I don't want to spoil it, but there was one world in particular I really loved going to go see because I didn't think I would go see it. But I have a lot of issues with the fact that the main character is told from the perspective of Cora, who went to the world of the trenches and was a mermaid. And she's fat. She's a fat girl. Nothing wrong with being a fat girl. I'm a fat girl, but I don't need to be reminded that she's a fat girl every 2 seconds. I feel like the people that went to those worlds would, like, everyone that we've seen so far have embraced who they are. You know, their worlds are unique to them and they've embraced who they are, but she's come back from her worlds and she's still thinking everyone thinks her fat. You know, oh, I can't say anything. I'm really tired from this walk, but I can't say anything because they're gonna think it's because I'm fat and not just tired. You know, oh, there's a bunch of food here, but I'm not gonna say I'm hungry because, you know, I'm fat and, you know, everyone's gonna think that. Not every fat girl feels that way and thinks that way. And it was just super annoying to have that experience of fat representation in this book. So far the representation has been ace in these books. Like, I really love the representation, just not the fat representation in this book. And confection as a world, I kind of gloss over. It was too much nonsense for me. I am not a nonsensical person. If I were to live in a world, it'd be a world of logic and reason. That would be my type of world. And a little dark. So 3.5 out of 5 stars. I enjoyed it, but not as much as I'd hoped. And the representation of things could be a little, you know. They did good. She did good with the fat rep and Down Among the Sticks and Bones. There was a fat character in there. In fact, there's a drawing in here. For some reason, I thought this was of Jack and Jill, but it's actually Jack and Alexis, her love interest, and she's a curvy girl, which I missed that the first time around, and I enjoyed that aspect the second time around. So, like, the fat rep was great in that book, just not really great in this one. That is my only big gripe. I was warned about this from Trina from Between Chapters, but I didn't listen, and I didn't think it was gonna be that annoying to me. So that is my wrap up for January. I hoping to maintain my reading engines and just keep going. There are books that I definitely want to read that I have at hold on the library, which I'm going to get soon, and books I want to get to. Really excited. I was going to do a couple book reviews for some of these books, but since I'm doing my wrap up already, I'm not going to go do that. So hopefully I will think to do some book reviews in the near future of books I finish. I need to do them like soon after reading them or I'm going to forget. Like I was planning on doing a review for Mortal Engines, but I forgot the main character's name, so I'm like, Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed my wrap up of January, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!